As much as we might wish the situation were different, our country is not facing a choice between government action and the smooth functioning of the free market. We're facing a choice between action and the real prospect of economic hardship for millions of Americans.
That was President Bush yesterday, addressing the nation before markets reopened after Monday's record losses on Wall Street. He called on Congress to hurry up and pass his proposed $700 billion bailout plan for Wall Street.
For the financial security of every American, Congress must act. My administration will continue to work closely with leaders of both parties on Capitol Hill. I appreciate their determined efforts. Our economy is depending on decisive action from the government. The sooner we address the problem, the sooner we can get back on the path of growth and job creation. This is what elected leaders owe the American people, and I'm confident we'll deliver. Thank you.
Monday's vote against the bailout rested upon the votes of 23 members of the House of Representatives, with the final vote at 228 to 205. A decisive factor in the tally were 28 no votes coming from 18 of the 21 most vulnerable Republicans and 10 of the 15 most vulnerable Democrats in next month's elections. The defeat for Bush's plan came after millions of emails, reportedly running more than 80% against the bailout, poured into Washington, with the sheer volume crashing the congressional website. All in all, a 2-to-1 majority of Republicans walked away from the Bush proposal, joined by 40% of House Democrats. Nevertheless, Republican John McCain and Democrat Barack Obama both supported the measure, and both are urging Congress to adopt a similar measure as soon as possible. This was Senator Obama speaking yesterday.
To the Democrats and Republicans who opposed this plan yesterday, I say, step up to the plate. Do what's right for this country.
Meanwhile, Green Party presidential candidate Cynthia McKinney last week rolled out her own plan to rescue the economy. She emphasized first that the bleeding at the bottom had to stop, and that means protecting homeowners from foreclosure, both in the short and long term.
Last week and this week, I put out a 14-point plan that I think would address the financial crisis that our country is experiencing, and immediately some things that the Congress could do in order to address the concerns of average ordinary citizens in our country. First of all, we need a moratorium on foreclosures. We need to renegotiate all adjustable rate mortgages into 30 or 40-year loans. We need to eliminate all adjustable rate mortgages. We need to eliminate all predatory lending.
Unlike Obama or McCain, McKinney has a concrete proposal to recover for the public the benefits of public investment to repair the financial system, benefits in both the financial and public policy spheres.
We should also make sure that the Federal Reserve should indeed be federal. And so therefore, the policy that I recommend is that we nationalize the Federal Reserve and establish a publicly owned banking system so that the government is the issuer of our currency and the debt that is incurred is to the American people. All lending is done for the benefit of the public and social good and not to the benefit of private financiers.
McKinney's 14-point plan can be seen at her campaign's website at www.runcynthiarun.org. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal reports that as they rush to ease deepening strains in global credit markets, central banks around the world are increasingly transforming themselves from being lenders of last resort to lenders of first resort. With lending between financial institutions essentially frozen, the central banks have effectively assumed much of a key role that private banks have previously played, providing the day-to-day grease that allows financial markets to function. Banks are now on life support systems with the central banks, according to Thomas Meyer, an economist with Deutsche Bank in London. And the New York Times reports today that Senate leaders scheduled to vote for today on the $700 billion bailout after accepting tax breaks and a higher limit for insured bank deposits in a bid to win House approval and send legislation to President Bush by the end of this week. The Senate proposal, worked out after a day of behind-the-scenes maneuvering, would include tax breaks for businesses and alternative energy and higher government insurance for bank deposits. The senators issued no details of their proposal and said none would be available until later today. I'm Don DeBar.